So 3 months ago, I wrote a blog post about the policy that I thought that social media companies should take. I said for moderation. And what I said is there actually is a moderation policy consistent with the First Amendment that could be implemented, because the First Amendment does not protect many categories of basically dangerous speech. There's like 9 major categories. It includes incitement of violence. It includes, trying to, trying to provoke a crime. It includes fraud. It includes defamation. There are many categories of speech that aren't protected by the First Amendment. And social media companies could have said, listen, this is our policy, is we're going to try and be broadly consistent with the First Amendment, but if somebody goes outside of those lines, then we will remove it. So there was a way, to your point, Jason, I think there was a way to remove some of Trump's tweets for incitement consistent with the First Amendment. But that's not what they did. And maybe that would, instead what they did is a lifetime ban combined with rounding up, twice the usual number of suspects, combined with a deplatforming, not at the account level, but now at the application level by Google, Apple, and Amazon. And none of this has been explained. There is no policy. What it is a appropriation. Hold on. What it is an appropriation of power by oligarchs.
No, there is a policy. The problem is, as we've just discussed, it's an interpretation that must occur. And the interpretation of Wednesday's comments on a tweet might be, okay, yeah, they're borderline, but not enough to shut his account down. And these folks know how to do it. When Rudy Giuliani says, I want a trial by combat, or if Trump says, you're not going to have a country unless you fight, and you have to fight, and we're never going to accept these results, is that inciting or not?
So
it did incite people.
The policy that I want is something broadly consistent with the First Amendment, because. But in
those phrases I just told you, are those inciting, or are those on the borderline? If you were making the decision,
right? So putting my lawyer hat on for a second, there's questions of law and questions of fact. Okay, and we can debate. What you're describing are questions of fact. What I'm trying to say is, well, what is the law? What is the policy? The
law would say those were not direct incitement.
No, there is no policy. These social media companies don't have any policy. They're making it up as they go along based on the pressure they get.
What would you do with Trump's comments from Wednesday if they were in tweets?
Yeah, I'll tell you. So first of all, I would have implemented a moderation policy broadly consistent with the First Amendment, and then certain tweets that were inciting violence while there was rioting on the Capitol, I would have been okay taking those down. I would have taken those down. Where I think, and I think even doing something until the inauguration, if you think that Trump poses a threat,
he does.
I think that's okay. I think that's okay.
So you would have been fine with a 30-day ban or something.
Well, like a 10-day ban or whatever, but a lifetime ban. That, like, on what basis? On what constitutional grounds do you justify that? And look, I know it's a private company, but my point is this idea: our free speech rights got privatized. Okay. The town square got digitized and centralized. We used to have town squares where people could convene all over this country. We had a multiplicity of newspapers. All of that got replaced by a handful of tech monopolists. Our free speech rights got digitized. If they take away our ability to speak, we don't have free speech rights. Who do we appeal to when we get canceled by a Google or Apple? What court can we go to?